Well, I should probably figure out how much this thing costs first. This thing is $800? $800? This thing is $800. So this thing arrived at my door today, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I don't know what's in it. All right, so that's not entirely true. I do know that there is a mini PC in here. I just don't know which mini PC is in here. I get quite a few emails from different companies that make these mini PCs, and I say no to a lot of them. Honestly, I get a lot of emails just in general to review any sort of product, including air fryers and toasters and all kinds of weird things that have absolutely nothing to do with the channel. But when a company reaches out and says they want to send me a mini PC, this is a PC channel, so I said yeah. Now you guys are gonna go into this with me. I don't know what the specs of this mini PC are. All I know is that I said yes to taking a look at it. And let's be honest real quick, who's buying these things? There are so many different kinds and so many different resellers selling mini PCs. They've got to be selling a decent amount of them, or it wouldn't be worthwhile to make a whole bunch of them. Now, I have a mini PC, but it's attached to my TV, but I'm also extremely nerdy. There can't be that many people who want mini PCs. But regardless, let's go ahead and take a look. I don't know anything about this. All right, so this is, oh, it's Beelink. That's actually a pretty large brand. So Beelink, so it says here that it is an Intel Core Ultra 5 125H processor. I don't know what that is. It also has 32 gigs of memory. I don't know if that's DDR5 or not, but it does have 32 gigs of memory and 1 terabyte of storage with Wi-Fi 6. So, I don't know. Maybe it's pretty good. So I get that maybe like office buildings and different companies like that might want to use these because they have like base mounts on the back of them and they'll attach to the back of monitors and stuff like that. And they, come on. What in the world? This packaging. Come on, there we go. Goodness. Now I understand how these can be beneficial for like office spaces and stuff like that. I just don't see how, ooh, this thing is heavy. It's got some weight to it. Why is it, what is it? It says hello. What is it? I don't know what that does. You can usually mount them to the back of a monitor. I don't see how this one has the ability to mount it though. Does a mount come like inside the box? So there actually is no mount for this to like put it on the back of a monitor and take up less desk space. You actually have to have this on your desk, which I think that's weird. But I mean, it is perforated down here. So maybe they've got fans in there and that's just for airflow and they don't want to restrict that airflow by having it up against something. I mean, it does have little tiny legs here, so it can get some air. Not a lot though, like very small amount of airflow. So just like most other mini PCs, you have your standard connections. On this mini PC, you have your power button, you have your audio jack, a USB-C and a USB right in the front, and in the back, you do have 3 additional USB ports, a display port, a HDMI, another USB-C, and your power connector and your Ethernet port. Also in the box, you get a HDMI cable and you get your power brick, and this thing's got a little weight to it. Let's go ahead and get this thing plugged up and let's go over the full specs of this thing. Now I know that if you are a fan of this channel, you are probably a big fan of gaming PCs, and while this isn't really listed as a gaming PC, we're still gonna try and play some games on this thing. Because who knows, maybe if you don't have a lot of money and you need a gaming PC, this thing could actually work for that. Well, I should probably figure out how much this thing costs first. This thing is $800? $800? This thing is $800. Seriously? Seriously, this is an $800 mini PC. Oh boy. All right, so when Beelink reached out to me to review this thing, they didn't give me any specs on this unit because it hadn't come out yet. And right now is the first time that I am learning anything about this unit. So the Intel Ultra 5 125H is actually a 14 core, 18 thread CPU. That is actually really good. And the 32 gigs of RAM in here is DDR5 5600 megahertz RAM. This thing might actually be really good. But is it $800 good? That's the real question. So, power this bad boy on. Ooh, it's dead quiet. It's making no noise. You can hear there's a fan going on inside there though. Apparently, according to Amazon, you are able to add 2 M.2s to this little thing. We'll check that out in a little bit. First, we need to get an image from this thing at some point. Is the monitor? Monitor's not plugged in. There you go. We get an image from our $800 little beast here. All right, give me a moment. I gotta do the whole setup thing and I'll be right back. All right, so while I'm setting up Windows, I did want to say that if you are planning on purchasing a mini PC on places like Amazon, I do know that the company Ace Magician actually was accused of having their units come preloaded with spyware, and you want to be very careful with the company that you do choose to go with when you purchase these things, because that is a possibility. Now, Beelink is a much larger, much more reputable brand, and they're not going to have that issue, which I will check anyways, but just know that you need to be very careful when you purchase stuff from Amazon that you don't know, that isn't from a reputable company. So Windows is all set up. I went ahead and did all of the updates, and then I downloaded Cinebench, and we did a multi-core Cinebench run, and the score we got was 12,746. Now, that is not the best score for a CPU that you're ever going to see, but for a mini PC, that's the strongest score that I've gotten from any of the mini PCs that I have tested. So it can be expected that this would be a pretty strong editing PC. But what I really want to know is the Intel Arc graphics that come included with this CPU. I want to know how well those can game, because this is pretty much a gaming PC channel, and it wouldn't be one of my videos unless we tried to play a game with it. So this is actually like a little post-production edit in. I did want to tell you that this entire video was edited on this little mini PC, and it was able to render a 12.5-minute video at 4K in only 22 minutes, which is actually extremely good and very impressive for a tiny little unit like this. I just figured you guys might want to know that. So the Intel Arc integrated graphics that are inside of our CPU here actually has its own dedicated software. Now, the reason that I'm in this software right now is because I tried to open up Overwatch, and the reason that I wanted to play Overwatch is because Overwatch is a very low resource game. Most not powerful computers can still get a decent FPS in that game. So I figured that this system would have no problem running it, but when I opened it up, the game was unplayable. I could barely make out I could barely figure out how to quit the game because you couldn't see anything. So I had to go into the Intel Arc software here and do a driver update because the driver had an update. And now we're gonna go ahead and launch Overwatch again and see if it's playable. So going into the Overwatch settings, I just used the recommended settings, which were a mixture of high and low, and the gameplay was not all that bad, getting an average of 62 FPS, but while the image quality is pretty good, the gameplay was slightly choppy, and you could chalk that up to my poor gaming skills, but I would certainly say that the game is playable if for some reason you wanted to game on this little PC. So to get over 60 FPS in Overwatch 2 is actually better than I have been able to achieve with any of the other mini PCs that I have tested on this channel, including the mini PC that advertised itself as a gaming mini PC. Now, I did download 2 games. I downloaded Overwatch because it's very easy to run, and then I downloaded Call of Duty, which is also a pretty easy game to run for most computers. But I wanted to see how well it would do on this system here, and I couldn't even make it past the splash screen without this PC, tanking on me. So there will be absolutely no Call of Duty testing on this system. It's just not a gaming PC. Okay, so it all really boils down to, is this worth the $800 price tag that comes with owning this little tiny thing right here? And honestly, it's very quick, it's very responsive, it's a very strong PC, but only if you are looking for a strong home PC for light video editing, maybe some graphic design, web browsing, 4K video. This is an extremely responsive unit. Everything that I wanted to do on this PC, I was able to do it very quickly thanks to the fact that this thing has 32 gigs of DDR5 memory inside of it. But if you're looking for a gaming PC, this is not it, and it doesn't advertise itself to be one. You know, I'm just me, and I like testing games on PCs. I've got my fingers crossed that hopefully one day somebody sends me a mini PC that just blows me away when it comes to playing games. But that's that. Tiny little box, super powerful, not a gaming PC, but can do pretty much everything else, and it can do it pretty well. But my friends, if you did have a little bit of fun here with me today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We usually do PC builds every single week, and they are usually larger than this one, but I did want to say that no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic day. And I'm going to see you in the next video.